Well, the roots of this franchise can be confusing. The original Washington Senators, the club with Walter Johnson, the big train, left the nation's capital to become the Minnesota Twins in 1960. With that team leaving, a new Washington Senators team came into the league as an expansion team for 1961. Now, that team would also leave Washington during Ted Williams' tenure as manager and become the Texas Rangers. Only 8 teams in Major League Baseball have never won a World Series title. Of the 8, the Rangers have the longest title drought. That could all change, though, this week.
And the Rangers win Game 5. And they lead this World Series 3 games to 2.
The Texas Rangers are 27 outs away from winning the World Series, the first in the 51-year history of the franchise. It would end a drought that is only exceeded by the Cubs, 103 years, and the Indians, 63 years. The franchise began play in Washington, D.C., and are now managed by a man named Washington. The team is put together by a young man from New York, John Daniels, and a Texan 30 years his senior, Nolan Ryan. Men who come from different backgrounds and embrace old-school scouting and new-school analytics. One other architect is senior advisor John Hart, who served as the team's general manager for 4 years, beginning with the 2001 offseason. His imprint is all over this team, with Ian Kinsler, a 17th-round pick in the 2003 draft, just one example. There has yet to be a Hall of Fame position player for the Rangers, although if you walk through the museum in Cooperstown, you'll find plaques for former pitchers that toiled briefly for Texas. Nolan Ryan, of course, but also Ferguson Jenkins, Gaylord Perry, Goose Gossage, and Bert Blyleven. But the greatest pitcher in franchise history was knuckleballer Charlie Huff. This team is 27 outs away from a parade, and it will be for Washington, his coaching staff, and his players. But it could also be for the late Ted Williams, who managed the Senators and Rangers from 1969 to 1972, and for other colorful Rangers managers, like Whitey Herzog, Billy Martin, and Bobby Valentine. This one could be for Jim Sundberg and Toby Harrah and Jeff Burroughs, for Irod and Ruben Sierra, Juan Gonzalez, and even former owner George W. Bush. This one's for Bud Selig, who will be able to justifiably boast of having 10 different franchises win the World Series in an 11-year span, as well as having the 4th metro area to see its first World Series title in the past 11 years. Arizona, Anaheim, San Francisco, and now potentially Texas. This one could be for baseball fans in the middle of the country, perhaps those who were tired of all the national games and attention given to the empires in New York and Boston. This one could be for Michael Young, the franchise's all-time leader in so many categories, some respected in baseball, and someone that did whatever was best for the club for so many years. Will it finally happen? Back here with Bill Ripken and Mike Lowell. Guys, this is a team just out of bankruptcy, and yet now they are poised to stay on top seemingly for a while. Player development, Bill, shrewd front office, they'll spend money, and revenue is coming in. TV deal, people fill in the park. Rangers seem to be in great shape. Why?
One of the guys that was around that coming out of bankruptcy time, Nolan Ryan. You know, when you talk about the whole shift, Texas could always hit. And there seems to be a shift on this pitching and how we're going to go about our business. And Nolan's influence, if you don't listen to that man when you're in a room with him, there's something severely wrong with you. And I think his influence on this team, there's more of his fingerprints on this team than probably shows up right now. But I think a lot of the credit's got to go to that man right there.
I think Nolan Ryan's the type of guy who personifies the attitude that Ron Washington then puts on the players. I think it starts from the top. He specifically said, I want my pitchers to start going after hitters. Why are we going to be held to going 5 innings? No, we go 7. We're taking our game to you. And you saw him, he did it for 27 years at a powerful clip. But then you look forward to the next few years, and what do we got going? Revenue. Before, they couldn't even handle C.J. Wilson's pending free agency. Now they're saying, we'd love to keep him around. This is a guy that, if it fits their scheme of what they want to do, they have the money to do that.
Yeah, there's a new sheriff in town, too. It's not the Cowboys.
Yeah, the culture's changed a little bit in Texas.
Texas Rangers.
Rangers
That's
are popular.
pretty much what everybody's talking about in Arlington right
That's right, right now. As the Cowboys go this way, because they are again, we'll see, the Rangers on the way up, and again, very close now to a World Series championship. When we come back here on MLB Tonight, one of the most memorable nights in the